We're going to now do adding and subtracting rationals with common denominators. Now, if you remember the word rational, it means fractions. So, and these fractions are going to be with letters in them, okay? So, but I want to review how we did fractions with common denominators before we even had any letters, okay? The nice thing about this is our common denominator is already found, so I don't have to do anything with that part. Eventually, we will be getting the common denominator, but for a while they're going to do it with common denominators to make it nice. So all we do is we write our common denominator on the top, right?
Oh, okay.
And then we just...
I have a question. Why do we write it on the top?
I'm sorry. We write it on the bottom. I apologize. On the bottom of the fraction.
Okay.
I said it, but said it wrong. We write it on the bottom, and then on the top up here, we just add. 1 plus 2 is 3. We're not quite done because we need to make sure we reduce our fraction.
Okay.
Okay? What can I take out of both 3 and 6?
A 3.
A
So
3.
it'll be 1/2.
1/2, that's right. And we did that because we could split those into the factors 1 times 3. And this was 2 times 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
Split into the factors. And the 3's would reduce, leaving the 1 and the 2 on the top. Okay?
Right.
And that's what we're going to do with letters. Okay? Here we go. Let's do some. So if I had 3x over 5 and 6x over 5, we keep the 5.
So then it'll just be, we'll add these two, so then it'll become 9x.
Yes. And can 5 go into 9?
No.
No. So I am totally done. I cannot reduce that fraction.
Oh, I like this.
Yes. Okay, now let's do another one. So if we have one like this, again, we just write the common denominator on the bottom, x plus 1. And then we just add them.
So it'll be 4x to the third.
Be real careful. Are those like terms?
No, see,
No,
you can't
that's
add
right.
that.
And I'm glad you made that mistake so that we can make sure we point it out. So that, because it's really important. We can't add them. They're not like terms. So we're just going to write 2x squared plus 2x. But now we're going to see if they can reduce. Can the top be factored?
Yes.
What can I take out of both of them?
A 2 and an x.
A 2 and an x. Okay, what will be left?
X.
An x up at the top and a plus what up here?
1.
A 1. So now I have an x plus 1. So now, just like my fractions at the beginning, where I could take a 2 out of both of them and was left with a 1/2, finding the two factors, that's what we're doing right now. We're factoring that to see if we can reduce.
So then you'll just have a 2x left.
Yes, because these will go away, and I'll have 2 and an x.
Oh,
We
okay,
reduce the
okay.
fraction. Can you already done from here down? You've been practicing. Okay, now they're just
Yeah.
adding a step before. So how did we get this? We added 2 things together.
Okay.
Let's do another one.
Oh, boy.
All right, we're going to do another example, but I want to note that this is subtraction. So I want you to be real careful with subtraction. There's a little bit extra that we have to just be cautious about. Not that it's harder, we just have to be cautious.
So,
We're going to rewrite our denominator. 4x squared
plus 4x minus 3.
Okay, now I'm going to change colors, and we're going to make sure that we're going to change this to a plus, but when we change that to a plus, we're going to distribute the subtract to everything. So this will be like a -7 here, or minus a 7, and this will be a minus 3x squared. So now we just combine like terms. Are there like terms in this at the top?
Yes.
Okay, what is it?
So it'll become 2x squared.
That's right, because we have a 5 and a 3. That becomes 2.
And then
what about
plus 13x.
plus 13x?
Minus 7.
Plus 13x minus 7. Okay, now, what do we have to do to make sure that we can't cancel anything? I mean, what do you have to do to just make sure we can reduce this? What are we going to do on the top?
Okay, we are going to do that little box.
Good.
So then it'll be 2 and 1, and 7 and 1, and we're going to do 7 and 1.
Yes, we're going to do that because one has to be negative and one has to be positive because the 7's negative. Which one do you want to be negative?
I want the 1 to be negative.
1, and we're going to check this. This was 14x.
Minus 1 is 13.
Yes, and I didn't do it small enough to fit the x in there. And then this portion was negative 1x. When we add those together, we do get positive 13x, and that's what we're looking for right here in the middle. So then we write this as one of them, 2x minus 1, and this right here, which is x plus 7. Okay.
And then we'll
Now-
do the same thing for the bottom.
Very good. Let's give us some room and get rid of this stuff right there. Make our box. With the 4x squared, what goes in here and here?
Let's do a 2 and 2.
A 2 and 2? Okay, 2x and 2x. Okay, that goes there.
And a 3 and 1.
Okay, what do you want? It doesn't matter in this case because they're both 2x. So
Right.
you want, but one of them has to be negative because the 3 is negative.
Right. We are going to want the 1 to be negative.
Okay, so let's check it. I'm going to scoot it over a little because I don't have room to do my check. Maybe I'll make it a little smaller.
6x minus 2x
Yes.
is 4.
Yes, so here's my negative 2x. Here's my 6x. And that does make my 4x, which I'm looking for. You're doing really good at those. And they had you practice all these steps beforehand, so you're just using them, getting more practice and more practice. So here's 2x plus 3. And here's 2x minus 1. Change colors just so I can cancel nicely. What does cancel?
These cancel.
Which ones?
These two.
Yes.
So
Left with,
x plus 7
yes. Let's see
over
what
2x plus 3.
yes, let's take this out to give us some room. There we go. One more time. I don't know what I did. Okay.
Oh, you pressed copy.
I'm trying to cut. There we go. I meant to get rid of it. Okay, here we go. So we have x plus 7 on the top that's left,
2x
and 2x
minus 3.
minus 3 on the bottom. There is our reduced fraction after we add it.
Oh, okay. I like
So you
these.
did have to know how to add and subtract fractions, because if you didn't understand how to add and subtract fractions, eventually we're going to be finding the common denominator, but we'll have to do some more backup stuff to do that. But this is how you add and subtract fractions. The biggest thing that I want you to just be really cautious is that subtract.
Yeah.
The tendency is to just put the subtract with only the first term there and not distribute it to the second and the third if there's more. And so
Right.
then you'll have the wrong answer when you're all done. It's very likely they won't factor and all that kind of thing. So if you get it down to the point where they might not factor, but most of the time I think they're going to give you ones because they want you to practice the factoring that will. And so if it doesn't, check it. Double check just to make sure you didn't make some mistakes. Okay? All right. We're done.